What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Abandoned Auto. Today we're going to be working on my 1979 F150. Once again, this video wasn't planned, but it's developed quite an atrocious squeal whenever I'm driving down the road. At first I thought it was a U-joint. I was thinking I could nurse it along until I get another U-joint in time to take it apart. And then I looked underneath it and saw the carrier bearing. And I'll throw a picture up on the screen right now. And so carrier bearing's destroyed. Go ahead and replace that. And hopefully just everything goes well. We'll get that together and hopefully that fixes our squeal. If not, then I'll dig into the U-joints and stuff too. Well, we're underneath my 79 F150 and it's the carrier bearing. The carrier bearing, this is a two-piece drive shaft. It holds that drive shaft up there and it is completely blown out. It started squealing really bad. Well, it started chirping while I was driving it and I was thinking it was maybe a U-joint that was dry. But upon further inspection, that carrier bearing is destroyed. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out. First thing you wanna do is come back to your differential and take this U-bolts off and everything for the U-joint. You're gonna slide this piece, this drive shaft out. And before you pull that drive shaft out, make sure you have chock blocks on your tires because your differential will be able to move forward and back. So make sure you chock your tires. You don't want your vehicle rolling away from you. Now once you take these two bolts out, they're 9/16, that should just drop that carrier bearing down. You should be able to pull that drive shaft from the front as well. There's our drive shaft, it's out. Now we gotta work on separating both the drive shaft pieces to get that carrier bearing out. You can hear that squeaking right there is the carrier bearing. Yep, that's what it sounded like when I was driving it anyway. Just like that, a little movie magic. New one's on. The process we did on this, that was stuck on there. It's supposed to pull off, but we ended up just attaching it to the truck and having another truck just pull it slowly out. That way we can get it separated so then all of this junk bearing could come off. So the junk bearing, all we did was take some punches, hammer, and beat it all the way off till the whole assembly kind of came off. Only thing that we reused was this dust cap right here. That needs to be massaged a little bit more. But got the new one on, same process, just slid it on, used various punches, and punched it all the way around until it bottomed out. So now that's gonna go back on this, and the whole thing's gonna go back in. But first, in the process of taking the drive shaft out, one of the caps on the tail end over here fell off and dropped a couple of the different needles. So that's right here. We're gonna clean these up, make sure they're all lined up again, throw some grease in it, put that cap back on. Okay, we've got the needles back in, got that cap back on, drive shafts are back together. Now we're gonna slide this whole thing back under the truck. It's also important to note that these are all in the same orientation they were when I took them off. Made little scratch marks here and there to line up the two pieces, because if not, then your balance would be off. With this in particular, I don't know if it is this way with every two-piece drive shaft, but it had an extra wide spline, so it would only go on one way. But just to make sure, because I didn't know that when I took it off, I went ahead and made two marks so that they would line back up when I put it all back together. Well, things have escalated. So you have a bolt, right, that holds the carrier bearing in. Well, you have this hanger thing that is supposed to slide through and everything, and that's on the back side so it doesn't spin. Well, both of these have snapped and spun, so they're no good. So the easy thing to do would just be get a nut and bolt, right? Well, the angle of the hanger, I can't get this one back out because the side tank is in the way. So I've got to drop the side tank to get to that bolt to get it back out. So with the side tank, you have the front strap and the rear strap, right? And both of them are rusted to where they won't move. So things have escalated to this. I now have a sawzall because I'm going to cut these straps right here and right here and drop this tank and get it out of the way, because this is the old tank. It's junk. The only reason I didn't mess with it before was I didn't want to, but it's no good. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the tank. It's going to be full of rust just like the other one, but we're not using these straps. If I get a new tank for it, then I'll get new straps for it. So we're just gonna cut it and get it out of the way. All right, gas tank's out. Now we can get this loose, take that back off. Okay, got that stuck one out. We're just gonna take these bolts, find a nut, and put it on there, just like that. So let's go find a nut that fits that bolt. Now, this is the old gas tank, and it's just destroyed. It started to disintegrate when I started pulling it out, but that's the old one. New carrier bearing installed. Now we're working on putting it all back on the rear differential. All right, that's all gotta go back up there. Got U-bolts and everything. Should have 4, I believe, 1/2-inch nuts. And after that, should be all put together. Just like that. Rear end is taken care of. Should be all set. Let's take this down the road, see if it still has that atrocious squeal. We're back in the F-150. Just sitting here at the side of the road. But we're gonna take this up the road real quick and see if we can't hear that squeal or grinding or whatever it was in the beginning of all this trouble. All right. Let's go slow first. I'm not hearing anything yet. At slow speeds, it would be chirping. I don't hear anything right now, so that's already a plus. I'm just gonna go around the block real quick. Also, the speedometer does work, but it takes a second for it to catch up, just like that, see? I'll fix that eventually, but it's not a huge concern of mine right now. So far, I'm not hearing any noises. I'm gonna get on it just a little bit. I hear whistling from the gap in the door, but I don't hear any grinding. I don't hear any chirping, because before it was awful. I mean, it was embarrassing to drive this thing, but as of right now, I think that was the issue. So that's awesome. I know I'm dirty right now. I have gotten crud and stuff in my eyes, but don't forget to check out my Instagram. I'll put it on the screen, abandoned_auto. Check it out. I post there a lot more than YouTube, and I post there whenever I drop videos on YouTube, so go check it out. Give it a follow. Well, there you have it. That's my 1979 F-150, the carrier bearing replacement. I'm really glad that solved our squeaking issue, because it was very annoying, but now I have the side tank out as well. Maybe I can fix the rear brakes at some point, because that's why they're capped off. I popped the brake line that was right behind the side gas tank, and I really didn't want to drop the tank just to repair a brake line, so maybe I'll repair the brake line, who knows. But yeah, so like, subscribe, share with your friends if you like this video. Go check out my other content, and I'll see you next time on Abandoned Auto.